Cater from MakerBots, a company that pioneered 3D printers for consumers. So how does it work? Well, it's actually similar in principle to a regular printer. Now, those use nozzles to spray ink onto a piece of paper, but instead of ink, these printers use rolls of plastic. Now, the printer melts down the plastic and then lays it out in whatever shape you want. And it can build tall objects by layering plastic over itself. Now, we'll show you the finished product from this printer a little bit later in the program. Now, Bree Prentice, he is one of the co-founders of MakerBots, the company behind this printer, and he's now moved on to MakerBots' parent company, Stratasys, where he's working in this innovation workshop. It's called Bold Machines. And yesterday, I spoke to Pettis in New York to ask him about what Bold Machines did, and he was joined by a couple of 3D printed friends.
3D printing technology is amazing. It's been around for a while, but we've only just begun to see the possibilities of what you can do with this. At Bold Machines, the innovation workshop at Stratasys, we're exploring the frontier of what's possible. We're going to be breaking into new industries. We're going to be pushing the edges. We're going to be working with partners to really see what we can do to bring more innovation into the world.
Take us inside this space at Bold Machines. What does it look like?
So imagine Iron Man's workshop, right? We've got all the 3D printers in the Stratasys lineup, from MakerBots, which make stuff like this, to wax printers that make wax 3D models that you can then take to a foundry and make into beautiful customized jewelry. That's the SolidScape stuff. Then there's the PolyJet line of 3D printing, which is it's like a epoxy-like material, and you can do multiple colors, multiple materials at the same time. And then there's also just super large scale stuff. I can't wait to do furniture and break into that industry.
Incredible. Sounds like a 3D printing playground. Now, we got to talk about Margot. It's this feature-length movie. It's featuring Bold Machine characters. You got two next to you, I believe. How is that project coming along?
So what we wanted to do with Margot is we wanted to showcase how 3D printing can break into really any industry and change the workflow and change the way you do things. So in the tradition of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and My Little Pony and movies that start from merchandise, we decided to start with 3D models. So the way you can get access to these characters is you have to download them and 3D print them on your 3D printer. And we're using this to jumpstart the process of creating a movie about Margot, who's a young detective who's like a cross between like Batman and Nancy Drew. And we've got a villain, Mr. Walter Snap, and they're in Brooklyn. She's got a laboratory filled with all the tools that she could possibly need to solve any crime.
I love this female character. This is awesome. I love what you're doing at Bold Machines, but I'm also thinking about what I could potentially do. I mean, 3D printers are finally getting somewhat affordable. It's getting a little bit more mainstream. When do you think this technology will be used by people like me?
You know, I think that's our next milestone, actually. When we started, people didn't even know what 3D printing is. So our first goal was to educate people about what 3D printing is. Now we've accomplished that, and our next challenge is to make it really applicable for people like you, so that you can, if you have practical applications around the house or at work, you can just take care of it. It'll be faster. It's faster than going to the store to make a lot of things that you can use in your life.
And can you give me some more concrete examples of how we will be able to use them? And can we use them for more than just printing out little plastic parts?
You know, what's funny is that before people get a 3D printer, they think, okay, what can I practically do with it? And then once they get it, they just start making wonderful things. So it's a real mix of stuff, and it really depends on what your passion is, what you're obsessed with, what you're into. If you're into old cars, you're going to replace all the knobs on your old classic car with your 3D printer. If you're into fixing up your house, you're going to replace fixtures and do all sorts of amazing things around your house with a machine that you're in control. In many ways, this is about taking a factory, and instead of having to go shopping to buy stuff that came from a factory, the factory is on your desktop, and you get to make stuff right in your own home.
And will the 3D printer work better than my 2D printer? Because right now, that's a piece of technology I just can't stand.
You know, it's interesting. As a leader at MakerBot, my obsession is with making it easy to use and super great experience. So I've really spent a lot of time and energy, and actually we've spent a lot of money developing this technology, and not only making it very powerful to compress the innovation cycle, but we've made it very easy to use and friendly.